Hi, thank you so much for joining me on the mat today. We're going to talk a little bit about yoga mythology, specifically with one of my favorite poses called Tadasana, or mountain pose. Tada means mountain in Sanskrit, and of course, asana means pose. So in this mountain pose, it's also the foundation for a lot of the standing positions as well. We see this as a kind of a transitional pose, a pose of newness. We're going to go ahead and come to a standing position. So slowly come up onto your feet and stand with your feet firmly on the ground, all four corners of your feet engaging. Possibly imagine roots going from your feet into the ground and really stay rooted here. All four corners are evenly distributed weight. We engage our calf muscles, our hamstrings and quads, possibly a micro bend in the knees to keep them from locking out. You're also going to point your tailbone towards your heels, and that kind of pivots your hips to where it flattens out the low back and brings length there. We're also going to engage our core, sucking our navel into our spine. We pull in our lower ribs, keeping all that tight. Also, we can inhale, circle sweeping our shoulders up and then exhaling them back down. And that opens up our chest. It also brings our palms facing forward. We spark our fingers to the ground, lifting our crown to the sky and slightly tucking our chin. This mountain pose is I like it because it builds confidence. Now in our mythology, this mountain pose represents Parvati, who stayed in this pose for 108 years. She was the reincarnation of Sati, which was the love of Shiva's life. So Parvati, in her reincarnated state, is trying to attract the attention of Shiva. Now, as the story goes, Shiva sprinkled the ashes of Sati along the Himalayan mountains. So that's another thing where the mountain pose brings in from the story. So the mountain pose is also seen as a meditative posture. It's a posture that's transitional. It's actually the beginning and the end of our Sun A, our Surya Namaskar. And so there is this illustration in the yoga asanas that it's a place of transition. It's also the place of that new beginning. So when we come in this Tadasana, we can just feel the confidence in this position, the confidence and the strength of the mountain. And we perhaps remember that love story where Sati is in this position for 108 years. And this is to attract the attention of Shiva, the love of her life. So, of course, Shiva comes and does notice her in meditation and is not able to get her out of meditation. But she comes into this place where it's an opportunity for newness, because she's the reincarnation. And so there's this, again, that idea of transition, that idea of newness. And when you come into this pose, if you remember that story, and maybe even to illustrate the 108 years that she was in this position, try staying in this position for 108 seconds. And that is a powerful number in yoga mythology. So we can, be in this position for whatever length of time, and maybe in your mind it's representing the 108 seconds that represents the 108 years. And that just gives you this idea of newness. So I invite you to close your eyes. Just breathe in the confidence and the mountain air. remembering the love story, paying attention to your breath, and just saying, what do I want to attract to myself in this posture of meditation? We come into stillness. Perhaps we pretend that we're there in the Himalayan mountains with the cool breeze of the mountain air. We allow ourselves to feel the solidness and the foundation. And we just imagine what newness awaits us when we step off the mat. When we transition from on the mat to off the mat, there's a whole world of opportunities for us. And I would invite you to see this pose as also an illustration of what newness can come to your life. I want to welcome you to try this position and embrace the mythology and the story behind it. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me on the mat. Namaste.